fine.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Ukraine Update here on The Shills. We've got a monumental program planned for you today with a whole bunch of really cool people that don't have a clue what's about to come either. So join us on a train of exploration as we dig deep into the souls of those who dare to join us. We've got two really cool guests with us today, and you can see that not everybody's on the screen, so I've already got a technical issue to sort out. I'm going to turn it right over to Greg Terry, because he's always loaded with something to say, and he's going to cover me while I fix this shit.
Dick, you need to get your stuff going. It's ridiculous. We're off with, and all you. Welcome everybody. That is the limit. I've let the hair down, and the pastor is rolling. So, welcome to Sergej as he's sitting there shell shocked in his location, and secular Sakai. Yana down there in South Africa. Slavi, welcome to you, and very nice to meet you for the first time. Slava Ukraine. James from James, why Ukraine? Thank you, brother, for all of your service. He is in Ukraine, waving the flags behind him, and as always, our legendary tactician, statistical analysis, military genius from legendary roots, Commander McMillan. Dick, did that give you enough time to fix your crap? You know, dude.
It was just perfect. I just ended right there. So we've got some introductions because we got new friends to the family here. Let me introduce Slavi. She's a part of the NAFO fundraiser we're doing with the Portuguese battalion of this NAFO 69 Sniffing Brigade. I'll be bringing you some details that very soon. Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us, and just tell everybody a little bit about who you are and what you do.
All right. Hi, I'm Slavi. I like to say I'm a model made in Ukraine, in Kharkiv. I do have family in Kharkiv right now. I live in United States. I have been here for a little while, and I'm in the film industry. And I'm happy to be here and get to know all you guys. You're doing very, very important stuff. So thank you for having me.
Oh, thanks for joining us. And Slavi's got a new YouTube channel. She literally started within the last 4.5-5 weeks. And we've got some subscribing to do, fellow babies. So our team, you know, they're the best in the business. The link, I'm sure, is already being dumped. There we go. See, CF Beauty beats. She knows I'm going to, and it just happens. It's slick, fellow baby. It's slick. So let's get some subbing going on, and let's catch up with our friend Sergej from Eric, the European Resilience Initiative Center. And I'm not saying it again, it's Eric. Sergej, how you doing, buddy? You had one hell of a day. Give us a story, buddy.
Oh, thank you. And thank you that you called it Eric, because that was the reason why it is being called European Resilience Initiative Center, so you can have the abbreviation which you can pronounce. And by the way, like, we have like several Erics who said, "Oh, I donate for your company because it is called like me." So, okay, it was our idea when we have selected a name. Well, yeah, today was a pretty stressful but happy day. I'm in Lviv in Ukraine, and we have spent today, I would say, like 8-9 hours dealing with the custom officer challenges. We have brought from Germany pretty much equipment, medical equipment for Ukraine, like ultrasound diagnostic devices, defibrillators, electrocardiography diagnostic devices, and a lot of other stuff. And what we didn't know was that the custom clearance rules have been changed since 1st of April. Like 1st of April, Fool's Day, we have been fools in this situation. And our bus with all the equipment stays on the border, and the custom officer says, guys, like, you need to have a special customs declaration. So just imagine Saturday morning, we need to call the office, say, yeah, can you do it? No, we cannot. We should have found like someone who could. So we spent, after all, like 9 hours declaring every single piece of stuff, like hypodermic needles, natrium chloride solution, everything like tamponades, you name it. But now it is 11:30 p.m. in Lviv. We are ready. The goods are being not only brought to Ukraine, but also put to the storage center from where they will go to Zaporizhia this week. And I'm absolutely happy. So yes, it was a hard day, but a great day.
Good. Now, permits. Before we get to, our regularly scheduled programming, Greg Terry, you've got news about the ability of moving things around as well, don't you?
Yeah, it's a challenge, but we are excited because our documentation was done on the 4 armored vehicles Friday, actually Thursday night into Friday. So the export process is rolling, and there's lots of hoops to go through. I would just leave it at this because I really prefer to have Ukrainians that are running NGOs. I know Sergej is with the European with Eric. We will not call him Eric, but we'll keep calling Eric. Makes it easier. It's a mouthful. But it's a brutal challenge right now. Yana's in here. She does it all the time with PK. A lot of this comes from Russian propaganda that's pushing into the system to make it more difficult. And this is a lot of the good things that Sergej does and Starsky does to combat that. Everything right now is happening not only on the offensive it's not a full-scale invasion, but there is an advancement north of Kharkiv, as we all know. I'm getting ready to put up a video about Vovchansk, 3 or 4 minutes long, so people can see the photos out of Vovchansk today. It's horrible. Absolutely horrible. It's Bakhmut 2, Avdiivka 2, and potentially can be Bucha 2. But with all that said, Russia pushing the propaganda, making it difficult for mobilization right now, pushing wrong agendas and narratives that mobilization is in this chaotic state when actually Ukraine is getting a decent grasp on it now. To be honest, it's not the picture that Russia is painting. It's not the picture that the Kremlin is painting. Does Ukraine have issues? Absolutely. So does every other nation on the planet.
Yeah.
But they're working on fixing it.
That's
but
like saying, do they have chickens and eggs, right?
Exactly. When it comes to the red tape with nonprofits, and
there are no problems in Russia.
When it comes to the red tape for nonprofits, it's a challenge. And that is why, fortunately, 26 years I've worked in Ukraine. We have our own lawyers that were kids growing up. I raised up as kids, and now they're big-time lawyers in Khmelnytsky and Kyiv and all these other cities, and they take care of everything for us.
That's awesome.
I couldn't imagine having to do it, just my NGO partner, Zhenya, the president of our organization, Napram, I couldn't imagine us having to do everything without lawyers. And it's sad to say, we're in a war, but our lawyers take care of everything for us personally. And that's their effort to fight the war for Ukraine, doing all of that non gratis for us. And it's the goodness of Ukraine, but the challenge of breaking out of a Soviet system that's been ingrained for decades and decades, but we're making progress.
Yeah.
Great update.
Is that accurate, Sergej?
Yeah, and on the fact of
Absolutely.
I know you're experiencing it, so I just wanted another witness.
Yeah. So let's do an update on the NAFO fundraiser. Slavi, you've been a part of the fundraiser as well here. Would you say it went pretty good? Like, we're getting pretty close now, right?
Yeah, we're almost there. And I'm very excited that we are almost there. And it's been pretty quick. So it's been good. I'm glad I made the video. I think it's been
we're going to show that video in a minute. I've got it all queued up and ready because I want everybody to realize that she has a YouTube channel up for a month. So I went over and I was expecting a YouTuber that has the video production and preparation of somebody who's been doing it for a month. And that's not what you get. It is proper, slick content. It's really good. So let me bring this up here. See, we're at 15,000 euro out of 18,000, right? We can get this closed, people. We can get this closed, right? And let's see what we can do here. I am just queuing up your video in the background here. Should we show it now?
Let's do it.
All right. So here, everybody, let me get ready for a zoom in and all. And here we go.
I even showed up on brand with the lime green and everything.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, oh, that's perfect. This is awesome. So enjoy this. It's a 2-minute and 36-second video. We're not taking ourselves off track too much, but we want you to know who our guest is. So here we go.
Hey everyone, watching.
Oh, is the audio not coming in?
It's choppy on my end.
That was really
it's rubber
weird.
banding.
Yeah, what the heck was that? Let me just
That is
make
not
sure.
the video, guys.
Yeah. Something's going weird there. Let me just double check. Because I have all this audio routing and everything usually works amazing for me. Why is it doing that?
Dick, I'll say this: you have an amazing setup, but it does not always work.
It's I'm hearing it out of my damn computer's audio. There's a one bit of kit here. Oh.
Not
Sorry.
always is a great understatement.
Here. Hold on a second here. Carry on conversation where you want to go, because I see what's happened. A Mac OS update has changed my default settings, and this is why something's not working.
Apple, Windows
We're back
already.
to blaming Apple.
Windows already does this to us. Come on.
I know. It's getting annoying. Here we go. Does that sound good now?
We're
you
not
guys
seeing
hear
the
that?
Video.
Oh, the
We
video
can't
now
see anything.
Oh, no, but here. Do you guys hear the audio now?
I do not.
For the love of God, really?
Well,
okay, yeah, go ahead.
All right, you work on that, and I guess in the meantime, while we're getting that video pulled up, Slavi, I guess while that video is being pulled up, what can you tell us about your work, your initiative that you most want everyone to hear and know about?
Well, the fundraiser right now is what I'm working on the most. Personally, why I started doing these videos is I want to appeal to kind of the younger demographic here in United States. And I want them to hear about Ukraine and what's really going on. So it would be people that usually wouldn't even read the news. So that's kind of like my target audience, and to speak to the younger crowd and just tell them the truth.
Makes sense. Yeah. And
Yeah, that's
that
cool.
is really important. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. And I guess I'll ask a follow-up question. So what kind of a background or work have you done in the past that kind of, prepared you or got you inspired to want to do what you're doing now with your videos?
I mean, I can go all the way back to Ukraine when I started performing as a little ballerina when I was 6 in Kharkiv. Then I've just been a performer my whole life. And then I went to film school here in Los Angeles. So now I'm here, kind of quick.
Okay. Very good. Very nice. All right. Well, Greg, I have a question for you also, going back to...
Bring it on.
All right. So you were mentioning earlier about lots of red tape for NGOs and nonprofits that are specifically based in Ukraine or founded in Ukraine, right?
Correct.
So I'm really curious. Is it almost like, because obviously there'd be different rules, different laws of what you can and can't do if you're a nonprofit versus a business entity of some sort, a traditional business entity someone would think of. So is it almost like, are there certain things that are easier to do to assist the war effort if you were, say, the equivalent of an LLC versus an NGO? Is there anything
No, that would be worse.
Direction?
That would be worse. The reason being, as an NGO, this is why, I appreciate everybody that's here in the Shills and all of us communities that work together, that are raising money, that are supplying Ukraine. I think about Sergej. I'm sitting here looking at him on the back feed over here. And I think about PK. I think about Professor Gerdish, Johnny. James is there inside Ukraine. I think about Rick the Ukrainian, of course, the Shills, Dick Dawson. And I'm doing a lot of work with Andrew Mercado right now. He's done 12 NAFO trucks. Jake Bro, we pushed for the we hit over 1 million. Was talking to Jake. We'll get him back on the channel again. We'll talk about it. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
So it's and the list goes on and on of people that are standing together and supporting Ukraine. What the advantage is as an NGO is this: we're limitless in what we can do. So my 501c3 in the United States is connected directly to our NGO in Ukraine. So that part is all easy, but due to, let's just be honest, we call a spade on my channel. Due to corruption, due to misuse of funds, Ukraine has had to crack down on it to try to get it stabilized. And what I say what that means is money going where it says it is going to go and accomplishing what it is stated to accomplish. That is why Sergej had to deal with counting 110 needles or had to deal with whatever. That's because, I mean, guys, we shipped over tons and tons, and my team of 20 people had to count every item, every one, thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of items. Now, we're getting beyond that now. Our lawyers are helping us, and I work, of course, with deputies and government people that helps us cut through some of the red tape as much as possible without breaking the rules, but we do push it. What the power of the NGO is, for example, we are repairing drones right now. And if you were to buy the replacement chips as an LLC or as a private individual, with just a business, or you're just somebody who wants to help Ukraine. In this example, the chip would cost about $150, $175 for one. As an NGO, we go in, the company producing them goes, okay, I see what you're doing. You are a nonprofit. I'm going to sell them to you at cost, period. We're purchasing the same chip for 1/3 the price. So we're buying them for literally $50 a pop. And for the people here on my channel, they know what we're doing. We're replacing sabotage chips on drones. And the power of the NGO, once you get it into place, gives you much more advantage to be more effective with the funds that are at your resources. So it takes all of the things to make the world go around, of course, and Ukraine to go around. But no, that would be much more difficult as a LLC.
Okay, gotcha.
Tax situation would be,
I remember we got
demolishing you. Yes, Yana.
James, I think you are on mute.
Yeah, we got donated
That's why it sounds so
35. We were donated 35 IFACs, and
are we having an issue with his audio? Is he unmuted and not, or?
I hear him just fine.
You, James.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm just messing with you, Dick. I couldn't help it.
Come on, Greg.
I'm sorry, I couldn't help it.
We've had that situation where people only some people can hear each other, Greg.
No, I'm just messing. It's Saturday, and I'm
That's
letting,
why he's doing it.
I'm letting my hair down.
We still don't hear you, James.
No,
rejoin, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just refresh and rejoin. There must be an issue on your side there.
So we had 35 iPhones.
What are you gonna do?
And
I couldn't get the browser to play the audio through the way I want. It's just buggered. So what we're gonna do is I've downloaded her video and I'm just gonna play it direct out of OBS. So we're not beat. There's always an option, right?
Get them, Dick.
Yeah.
So
I'm close here. I'm close. We'll actually do what we said.
If there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, right. There's gotta be, right.
But if I may, add my 5 cents here. We have this in Ukraine. We have this. The most popular topic in Ukraine is corruption, and you know that corruption was the best topic to address before the full-scale invasion. That it was not, because suddenly Putin was with all the flying missiles and calibers and drones and etc. But now, suddenly, we have corruption once again as the most important topic in Ukraine. And I will tell you that for it sounds like a bit like a heresy, but for many people in Ukraine, corruption has turned to be a topic where you can just say right words. Corruption is bad, stealing is bad, undermining the law is bad. Everyone agrees, everyone. But what is the result of that? Like, how do you want to fight corruption? And then they started to increase the regulation because they believe that as much regulation as you have, you will reduce the amount of corruption, which is not true. We know. The most corrupted countries in the world are the most bureaucratic countries, because when you have that much bureaucracy and that much rules and that much stamps you need to get to your paper, then after some certain limit of that rules and stamps and papers, you want to pay a bribe. So increasing the rules and the checkpoints and the number of those who guard you, you do not fight corruption, you practically create corruption. So
Right.
What did we have first? Like, I can tell you from my personal experience of a person who has raised over 500,000 euro with my very small organization within the last 16 months, 18 months. So first, we just bought devices and we are a German company. We have our oversight authority, the German tax office. And I'll tell you, the German tax office is the worst tax office you can have because they want to check everything. You pay €2 for something, you need to have a receipt for that €2 and you need to prove it. And this spending needs to be in harmony with the Bundesreisekostengesetz, like federal law on the business travels, and all other institutional rules. So we are already controlled. We buy equipment not with cash, with a bank transfer in Germany, and we bring it to Ukraine. So for our German offices, everything is transparent. We bought an equipment in Germany, we brought it to Ukraine, we have a paper signed by a recipient in Ukraine, and they have got it. So everything is fine. But on a certain point of time, the Ukrainian anti-corruption activists said, they bring so much equipment to Ukraine, we don't know where it goes. Maybe they sell it for a high price. I tell you guys, if I buy equipment in Austria or in Germany or in Denmark, I will not be able to sell it for a higher price in Ukraine. Okay, so what happened? I have some strange sound in my ear. Do you have it also?
Yeah. Fixing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what happened next? The next regulation was, they said, you need to have an official paper from Ukraine that they ask you to bring the stuff to Ukraine. And I said, okay, it's not always the best option because sometimes I buy 20 power stations and I bring them to 20 institutions. So I need to have now 20 letters from 20 institutions. But okay, I can do it. It's not that much job. And that's what we were doing. And now they have the next regulation. You need not only to have an NGO in Ukraine, you need to have an NGO which is registered in electronic register of NGOs which acquire international support. And I'm bringing now for 30,000 euro medical support from Germany to Ukraine. And we have an official letter from, let me say, Ukrainian hospital, we have an official letter from a Ukrainian hospital, which says that, Mr. Solani, please bring us the equipment. And it is listed what equipment we need to bring. And we are bringing that equipment to that hospital. But that's not enough, because this equipment must be electronically registered, because it's corruption fighting. I tell you, it's not corruption fighting. It's a theater. It's a theater which brings nothing. Because when you really want to have corruption, you find other ways. And the last point, that was, after all, better for Ukraine. Because on a certain point of time, we have decided, look, all import things that are too complicated because we need to have all papers, etc. And it's really we are a very small organization. We raise a lot of money, but we don't have a lot of staff because we are efficient. So for us, after a certain point, we said, okay, we don't bring equipment. We just find some areas where we have Ukrainian producers who produce their equipment, which we need, and then we just transfer money. And of course, then the German banks jumped in. And I personally had a case when I paid like 35 or 45,000 euro payment via a German bank to a company which produced the thing. And the German bank has just like frozen the payment because they weren't happy with that, because like suddenly 45,000 euro leaves our account and they hid that information because they weren't aware of that, because the customer office didn't know that the compliance office was checking it. And here I tell you, I don't know whose anti-corruption fight is more stupid, Ukrainian one or German one. But both of them harm real people who do real job, and that's a real problem.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts on that.
Yeah, man.
So,
1 second here, everybody. Yana, are we in sync?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me
Oh,
now?
Yeah. Let me get. I can really hear that thing in the background. Let me try to get the noise cancel on you here. Okay. How's that?
Okay, cool. Yeah, because I don't think you could hear me earlier.
No, not at
There
all.
was a time you couldn't hear
Not
me,
at
yeah.
all. Not at all.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But now we're good. Now we're good. Let me just.
Okay, awesome. Yeah.
Is Cheryl Waitley in the chat? I'll watch. Blonde Bombsheller in the chat. I see you. Got your address.
Yeah.
The flag is on the way. Desaid, listen, you're not allowed to come over here. Going back to Oklahoma. Cheryl, there you are. I got your address. Flag's on the way. Just wanted you two guys to know. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. The static is on my side. I'm visiting my grandmother, and she's got her.
It's using your MacBook mic, not your main mic, Yana.
In this.
There
Are
we
you
go.
serious?
Yeah, now we're good.
Are
There
you
we
kidding
go.
me?
that happened to me the other day on a
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
bad.
I
Everything
just
makes
switched
sense
it
now.
in the back. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
There we go.
Awesome.
Back on track. Back on track. Okay. Okay. So,
Awesome.
yeah, what are you going to do, right? Let me refresh the fundraiser and see where we are. We do have some shout outs to do. There's some super chats and donations and stuff that are coming in. And, good news. No, I should have done it like Doug DeMuro. Big news. The car YouTuber. We are about to get our Google AdSense payout, and we have a little over $1,000 in super chats to dump directly into the NAFO fundraiser. So that's Canadian. So right now it's at 15,352 euros, and I have maybe, I don't know, Canadian dollars are almost like pesos these days. So it's probably about 600 euro to throw in, right? No offense to anybody in Mexico. I love your food. But, you know.
But, are we going to get into a comparison of loonies and toonies and peso?
You're like, you can trade us in food.
I love it though. I like my son and I. Mexico's a big thing in our world. I think James is even coming back in now. Yes, he is. Okay, hold on. I have to add him to the thing in the background. I need a minute and then I'll do shout outs. Does anybody got something they want to just jump in?
I have
with?
something to say.
There we go.
Guys, it's my birthday on Monday. If you want, I'm turning 30. If you want, here is the Project Constantine LinkedIn. You can donate, pretty please, as a birthday present, 30 of whatever your currency is to one of our donation options.
Preferably the
Yeah,
dollar
I just
equivalent.
turned my birthday into a donation.
Yeah.
Might as well. Yeah. Well, look at what Jake Bro did. He turned his birthday
Yeah, I don't
into
think I'm
a
going to be as
donation
successful. I'm copying him, but I'm not going to be as successful as
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. So, James, are you back? You're in sync with us? You can hear
I'm
everything?
back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Good. All right.
Victory. All right. Yeah.
Let's check in with Slavi. Refresh your YouTube page. How are we doing on new subscribers? And let's drive some more over, people. Here, let's get the link in the chat.
I subscribed.
There you go.
Now, let's just put it this way. Now I can do live streams. 61 subscribers.
Nice. Here's the link again, everybody. Follow my link there. CF Beauty is beating me to it again. But let's get her up there because next time she joins us, we're going to have her back to, help build the channel and stuff. We are the Shills, right? It's kind of what we do. She'll be able to stream it on her channel as well. And then we can get the watch hours up and then she can get monetized quicker, right? So, So let me do some shout outs here now that I'm not discombobulated and everything is sort of working. Tempting fate. We had Left-Handed Jedi come in as a new shill apprentice there. Where's my button? There it is. We had Aussie T come in with a big thumbs up shout out message super chat here. It's not automatic. Press the damn button, people. A little reiteration there. We had Dunk on You 23 in with a $20 super chat. Hello, panel. Slava Ukraine. Heroyam Slava. Exactly. And then we had Blonde Bombsheller come in with a super chat. Great work on the panel, everyone. Slava Ukraine. Heroyam Slava. Petra Olsen came in with the SEC. What is that? Swedish? Is SEC Swedish? No. I think it's a Corona one. I'm not sure. 269 of them. So that gets a big button push. For the car. Okay, I know where to put that. Thank you very much. And Jean-Marc Paganel came in. Sick of you interrupting Yana a few times. Can you hear her? No, I can't. I couldn't, but we've got it all fixed now. I think we've caught up to that. When that happens, we should know better because the service will fail. We're using a peer-to-peer, not like a Zoom. So if one person has a flaky connection, all of a sudden things start to fall apart in unison. And that's kind of how it works, right? We are testing Zoom in the background to see if they can give us the service I need to make the show the way I want. We'll see how it goes. Yeah. Ew. Well, they have, I won't get technical, but they have a thing that would let me make the show still the way it is and not the way others think it should be because I'm just kind of picky that way.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Zoom is like for work calls.
No, they've been adding a lot of features for like streaming and doing all kinds of stuff like that. Actually, they're really expanding their abilities.
But their streaming services are based on using their ridiculous tools. I just want to use their thing and then pipe the audio and video into OBS so I can still do the show my way. And okay. I'm working with their tech support because it was supposed to be simple and it's not. And I kind of know how to do this. It should have been easier, but
You know, Dick, if you want to go with something that is
speed it up.
Yeah. If you want to go with something that's American-made software instead of from People's Republic of China, you could check out WebEx.
I already checked out WebEx. No. I already checked out WebEx, and their NDI support falls apart because they can't give me enough hexagons on the left. I tried my hardest to go with WebEx. But let me get a few last shout-outs in here. So we got Royal Castriata. Howdy, y'all, and fuck Russia. I like that one very much. And then we got, hey, Philip Ittner's in the chat. Hey, buddy, how you doing? I'll be in touch for next week, dude. I want to get you over because we got a cool guest coming. Speaking of which, this is why Starsky's not on the channel tonight, because he's usually here with us. He is doing a thing over in a place that I'm probably not supposed to tell you about, so I'm not gonna, but he's hanging out with somebody that you all know and love very much who will be joining us next week, so stay tuned to this space. Phil's super chat was, hey, the Shills, I'll come in after the first full episode, but the intro is up. We got to get you in, dude. We got to get you in big time. And there is a couple of direct donation things here as well. Demetria Ziganovas in the chat sent in a direct donation, and it was quite simply Beer Fund for excellent content. Yeah, buddy. Thank you very much there. And I do believe that gets us pretty caught up. I know there's going to be some direct donations into the NAFO fundraiser, so a big thanks to y'all for that as well. Let's try to get that number as high as we can, everybody. Now I kind of forgot where I was going to go next. Anybody got a good idea?
Yeah, I have. First of all, I have two questions. One is for Greg, and the other is for Slavi. Yeah.
Ladies first. Ladies first.
Yeah. So
couldn't agree more.
So Slavi, I'm wondering. You know, I subscribe to your channel. I obviously haven't had a chance to watch any of your videos or anything, but they look like Dick said, real well produced.
It's good
like
stuff.
The opposite of my channel, basically.
And this one, as you just witnessed for 20 minutes.
I'm just curious. You know, you're talking about connecting with people who aren't keeping up with the news. Maybe they care about Ukraine or not, but you're trying to make those connections, and I really think that's great. I've tried to do some similar things. I tried just some little weird hacks. I'm just wondering, what techniques are you using or trying to use to get the word out beyond the Ukraine bubble, as it were?
That's a great question. I think for me personally, it's all about visuals. So a lot of striking colors, where fashion is a big thing with the Zoomers. So I think that's kind of my way of connecting is through that to get into deeper.
Yeah, for sure. I'll tell you something I've been doing. This is just a little tricky, little stupid thing. So I go on with my shorts. You know how you can collaborate or do collabs on shorts? So I go and find whatever is the most popular short, whatever's getting like 1 million, 5 million views, whatever. And then I do a collab on it. Okay. And then, so it starts out like some sort of stupid short about cats or whatever crap. And then, so it's like 5 seconds or 15 seconds of that. And then it's like, support Ukraine! You gotta support Ukraine right now!
That's brilliant. I love that.
James, let me give you a tip. When using a microphone, you lean backwards when yelling, not forwards.
Sorry, yeah, well. I was just making more emphasis, like, support Ukraine!
Yeah. He literally just beat the shit out of the diaphragm in that mic with that one, man.
Pretty much. So yeah, and so I will, I'll have my regular shorts, which are, I kind of document stuff that I'm doing here in Ukraine, just kind of like daily life or things that I'm doing, but then intermittently, like every couple of weeks, I'll just blast these, crazy videos. It's my viewers have gotten used to it, I think, but sometimes I get really strong negative reactions from people where they're like, dude, I just want to live my life. Stop telling me about Ukraine.
Yeah. I've just recently, I think last week, I did kind of like a famous Ukrainian joke about Russians. And I posted it in the shorts. And then just today, I did another one because those are my most popular. So just tell a little joke.
That's cool.
Well,
That's cool.
Produce it, really and cool. People love it. So that's another way.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, I also love to interview. Do like live stream interviews with Ukrainians or people who who are volunteering for Ukraine. So you're welcome to come on my show as long as you don't mind the the amateur hour.
She just lived it. It's okay.
I'd be honored. Thank you. Of course.
Yeah. Cool.
James, are you using an Audio-Technica AT2020 microphone?
Yeah, sure I am. I'm using whatever I bought off of like the internet.
That's
the interwebs.
Yeah.
You and I are going to have a little VC together. I'm going to show you how to tune a microphone, dude.
We should. I would approximate. I mean, appreciate that.
Yeah, we got that. We got that.
Yeah. Like I said, amateur hour.
Sound engineer and Dick is like, this cannot go on.
Sound engineer meets network engineer. It's going to be great.
Yeah. We'll have all kinds of acronyms that neither of us understand.
People cannot memorize computer industry acronyms.
I've given up on
PCMCIA.
acronyms. I hate them. I just want people to, except for Eric, because I need that one, right? Otherwise, I just stumble every time I say it.
You civilians are amateurs when it comes to acronyms. I literally once wrote an entire message using nothing but acronyms.
See,
I'm so sorry for your readers.
In German Bundeswehr, there is like the idea that you can really like a one pager using only acronyms. And German language is pretty famous for creating longer words.
Yeah.
Like my personal favorite German word, which is one word, is Binnenwasserstraßenverkehrsordnung, which is literally the traffic rules for internal waterways. But the officially registered real word, like not some invented word, but a real word which was used in German language officially, is the name of a German legislation from 2001, I think, from the region Mecklenburg-Vorpommern, which are two words, which is called, in one word, Rindflasche-Etiquetierungsaufgaben- und Überwachungsübertragungsgesetz.
Jesus Christ.
You see, the longer these words get, only one word comes to my mind. Schadenfreude. You just want to watch me suffer, man.
That's true. Yeah, that is when you are happy that someone is feeling bad. But then you think about Bundeswehr, and Bundeswehr takes these words, these sausage words, and make them to acronyms. Then if the word sounds gibberish to you in the full form, then think about how gibberish it sounds, and it's an acronym. And that's what Bundeswehr is famous for. And Bundeswehr is actually BW in acronyms. And that is somehow explains to you why the German army is not the best in the world. Because if even the words don't make any sense, then the weapons make any less.
Sergej, I've been...
Like, just imagine that every person knows the name Thurs for the missile, which Olaf Scholz doesn't send to Ukraine. And now imagine that in the Bundeswehr slang, it is called with some acronym, like some Marschflugkörper, Kampfeinsatz, Langstreckenrakete, and that is also compressed into like five letters. That makes no sense. It makes exactly no sense as Olaf Scholz foreign policy. And that's how you understand I love Olaf Scholz.
So if that helped you, you have a higher rate of concentration than me because I'm still as lost as ever.
I'm just like an expert in Scholz bashing, and that's what I do for my life.
But that's like that's like one of the favorite German pastimes now.
Yeah.
Like,
that is actually what we are good in. Like we in Germany, like we have several fantasies which makes us high. And most of these fantasies are very dark and
like the Brothers Grimm.
Yeah, that is actually the origin, but we have like processed and developed them and make them microwave capable. So like our most favorite like fear is a fear of nuclear war, and we have never seen it. We have tried, like in '45, to create a nuclear bomb, but the British special force operators in Norwegia have destroyed our heavy water resource. We have decided we will invest in FAO2, which will not work anyway. So we have failed, but Japanese had their success.
You gotta give him credit for one thing though, because Sergej, when you get into a German vehicle now and turn on the sat nav, it doesn't give you the directions to Warsaw right away. So you gotta give him credit there.
But you first need to pass a test, because like in Germany, you always need to pass a test, and if you are able to operate like 50 things simultaneously, say, okay, like you're safe, but you will not concentrate on one crazy idea. You will concentrate on 50 uncrazy ideas. After all, like we are all afraid of nuclear war, and that is it. Okay, give Putin everything, because otherwise he'll start a nuclear war, and Putin knows it because it was KGB which planted in 1970s these ideas into the minds of our elites, and they still feel well. So the Putin, like every time when Putin sees that Olaf Scholz is ready to send something to Ukraine, Putin says, because like his TV channel says, Nikolai, I want to make an interview. And then it says in this interview, yes, I will nuke Berlin. And then Olaf Scholz says, oh my God, like Putin will nuke Berlin if I send like IFVs to Ukraine. And that was exactly the discussion. Like in April 2022, when everyone wanted to send arms to Ukraine, Olaf Scholz gave an interview to Spiegel, the largest magazine in Germany, and he said, like, if I send IFVs, like infantry fighting vehicles, to Ukraine, it will trigger a nuclear war. And every single security expert in Berlin understand the joke. Look, the Marder IFV, the Marder infantry fighting vehicles have one undocumented feature. If you send them to Ukraine, they trigger nuclear war. No single IFV in the world has that feature, only German, because they are the best. And that's what the Russians use all the time. They know they just need to call to Berlin and say, you do that, I will nuke you. And the German politicians get that sweet thrill of fear, which like make them very happy. And that is how Putin manipulates our politicians. That is really, it is somehow like, it is really, you know,
it's happening here, Sergej.
Insulting. Insulting.
It's happening here in Canada because the Russian influence of propaganda has created MAGA nuts in Canada. We have morons that drive around talking about their amendment rights. That's America, you idiots.
You guys don't have amendments.
I know. It just doesn't even make sense.
Even I know that. But I know the
if
NRA.
You're crazy enough, you can make anything apply to anything.
Yeah.
I know they tried to get I think it was in Australia. They wanted to improve their, or like they had certain gun rights or whatever, and they wanted their, you know, guns back.
Buyback program.
Or a certain level of guns back or whatever. And they contacted the NRA and they were like, hey, we need help with lobbying. and the NRA sent them a booklet and like gave them advice on how to do it. And one of the talking points were that they're impeaching, like stepping on their Second Amendment rights. Except Australia doesn't have a Second Amendment.
It's not just Australia.
I don't know. The first thing you do, you take the people like from the government and throw them into the water with the tea bags.
Oh,
I'd call it a tea party. Without that, it doesn't work.
Greg, you've got to have something to say about that. Come on.
I'm not touching it with a 10-foot pole.
You cannot make the second step, right?
Oh, as soon as
you can see Commander McMillan's face. That's all you need to know.
Wow, man.
So guys, I have some news articles here.
Well,
Right.
you bring up a news article, and I'm going to cue our video in the back. So we'll bring up a couple of news. We'll have a little chat, and I've downloaded the video, added it to OBS, and we can finally make this happen. Go ahead, dude.
Finally.
All right. So first article I've got here is related to the Kharkiv front.
Sergej?
Oh, can you guys hear me?
I do. Oh God! Don't tell me, Yana. Can you not hear him?
No.
No.
Maybe rejoin. Maybe rejoin.
Okay.
Yana's little thing is saying she's doesn't have the best connection. It's yellow, so that's what's going on. So just rejoin again. What are you gonna do, right?
My grandmother doesn't have fiber.
Yeah, right. She doesn't really have Wi-Fi by the sounds of it. So
Tell your grandmother to get more fiber.
Metamucil, it works great. Trust me, I'm old.
Exactly.
I'll be back.
Okay. And it looks like Secular Sakai dropped out as well. So that's handy.
He thought you meant him when when you said reconnect.
Yeah.
That's what happened there.
Okay. So jeez. Greg, save me, brother. What is going on?
Well, what's going on is this is actually a demonstration of how Russian propaganda works. Everything is tossed into chaos. And from that, this is a perfect demonstration of why the world is in absolute chaos. I mean, I showed last night on my stream our own house with Marjorie Taylor Greene and OAC.
Yeah.
We had a good time with that last night. Had a really long stream. We gave away another flag. Lady
Nice.
B Apiary won one last night. It was really cool. She had sent in like 3 or 4 questions for Professor Gertis and Virginia, and she had sent some super chats in, and she, when I spun the wheel, she actually won the flag. It was super cool. But we were talking after the stream, okay? And listen, Zhenya, he's so funny. We showed just the chaos, and my point in sharing that, and Professor Gertis enjoyed it because he hadn't seen it yet, was, this is the lady MTG that was single-handedly, of course, not by herself, but holding up the aid and throwing monkey wrenches into the system and all of that.
She's a horrible bitch, if I might paraphrase.
And she was hijacking the system, but you could really see true colors of how these people operate and how they think. It's such a childish and low level that in somewhere that is supposed to be sacred, like the United States House of Representatives, a meeting, that you would behave like that, knowing the world is going to see it. What a narcissistic piece of trash, as Professor Gertis would call her, the camera whore, MPG. But the point being, and then when we finish, Zhenya goes, Greg, I really appreciate you because you didn't show the Ukrainian videos where our guys were actually fist fighting. I said, no, we were not going to show those.
No.
We're going to make sure. He goes, but I don't care. Show it. This is why the world's in chaos.
Yeah, but we're not biased at all. We're just not showing that shit.
No, those are famous clips. Those are very famous clips.
Totally.
But the point being is, if the world is in chaos, it's more difficult to get things done. And this is why it's vitally important to cut through the chaos, cut through the red tape, cut through the propaganda, cut through the things we disagree upon, and show the things that we do agree upon. I will tell you guys right now, Andrew Mercado did a really good piece last night, and I highly recommend you guys go watch it. He was live in St. Paul, Minnesota, and just at some rallies, and he did a really good independent journalistic view, not taking sides, just asking questions.
Yep.
And you could just witness how people think.
It's
so
feverish.
shout out for Andrew.
And the way
really
he
good
held
last
his
night.
composure in front of all of that
he did
feverish response was
he did
absolutely brilliant.
He did a great job.
Yeah.
So I encourage you guys to go check that out.
Exactly. So now I do
In fact, I'm going
believe.
to text him now and tell him we gave him a shout out for that.
Yeah,
There
a
you
good
go.
shout out too, because mucho respecto on that one. Let's see if we can't make this happen. So what's going to happen is OBS has this really weird thing where if I load a video in, it'll play to all you folk out there, but we won't hear it. So I have to start the video, pause it, and then I have to go into this stupid menu to make it so we can all hear it, and then I can play the video. And I know that's clunky, so write to your local OBS representative and tell them. I'm just kidding. But let's see if we can't make this happen. So, hold on a minute here.
Hey everyone,
okay,
I'm Slavi, your host. You're watching a
now
Slava
everybody
Concept
else can
Studio
hear what's
production.
going on, and
We're on a mission to support.
It's not working out for me yet. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Now I can do what I need to do, right? So I can size it full. See that? Isn't that cool? Isn't that amazing? And then I can go into there, and I have to scroll through this big list of crap. And Slavi vid, there we go. Monitor and output. And now, if I go back to where we were, we can hear it, you can hear it, and more than that, everyone can enjoy it. So what do you say, everybody? Shall we give this a second try and go for broke? Here we go. Did it work?
Oh, yeah, it's totally working.
Okay. It's not, is it?
No.
Yeah, why won't you play for me? Okay.
Hey everyone,
go.
I'm Slavi,
What's
your
working?
host. You're watching a Slava Concept Studio production. We're on a mission to support the brave heroes defending Ukraine's freedom and the whole democratic world against Russian tyranny and the axis of evil. Are you ready to make a difference where it counts? On the front lines. I'm thrilled to announce a collaboration with the esteemed Portuguese battalion of the 69th Sniffing Brigade and the Shills YouTube channel, forming the powerful International Legion. Our objective: to supply the indispensable NAFO Truck 2.0 to those who need it most. These trucks aren't just vehicles, they're lifelines of our Ukrainian heroes, ensuring they can execute their missions effectively and safely. Your generous contribution of $100 not only earns you a unique patch, but also solidifies your crucial role in our mission. There are different donation tiers available, and you can even customize a message to be displayed on the truck. Find all the details at help99.co. Each dollar donated brings us closer to our $18,000 target to procure a fully equipped pickup truck boasting night vision cameras, anti-mud tires, and integrated drone jammer. So let's come together, dig deep, and show our Ukrainian heroes that they're not alone in this fight. Your donation today will make a tangible impact on the ground, providing our heroes with the tools they need to defend their homeland and deter Russian invaders back to where they came from. Join us in making history. Together, we stand with Ukraine, united till victory. Obrigado, дякую. Thank you for watching. Slava Ukraine.
Героям слава. Bom trabajo.
Now that's how it's done. See what I mean, fellow babies? Get over there and sub right now. This is somebody that actually knows what they're doing. What do you think? I think that's killer.
Mm-hmm.
Good music, too. I approve.
You know, Slavi, the woman in that video looks a lot like you.
Really?
Yeah, it's amazing. The resemblance is uncanny.
You know,
Oh,
one day soon it might be AI version of me.
oh, that's a scary thought. We on our little news show during the week, the 42 show, we've been talking about AI and how it's infiltrating the creative arts, both music and in person and voice actors and all kinds of things. And I'm not impressed, but you know.
But you know what would be like the ultimate problem of the AI? Just imagine Vladimir Putin saying cute things.
That's a good
Vladimir
idea.
Putin like appears on TV, on Russian TV, like hacked, and or not hacked, and says like something like Russian imperialism must be defeated. Russia is an evil empire. And you see, like, it's Vladimir, like, it's him, but he's telling the right things. What should I do? Should I agree to Putin?
Oh, there. Okay. So what we need is submissions. If you're the kind of person that plays on Midjourney and some of the other platforms, we want AI Vladimir Putlers that we can screw with and fuck with and have some fun. Sorry, Greg.
What we should do is get on to Mixtral or Dolphin or one of those where it won't deny whatever you ask for it to do for you. Because
that's a good idea. That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
Like you have like Putin like like Siri, and then you ask him, Vladimir, whom does Crimea belong? And he's, of course, Ukraine.
Oh, yeah, okay, we need this. You know what? We're going to create a Discord bot. So come to our Discord, and soon you'll get to talk to a pro-Ukraine Vladimir Putler. How about that?
And then you ask him, like, where does Putin belong? He says, of course, to The Hague. Do you confess? Yes, I do.
Yeah. Oh, we got some good angles coming up.
By the way, in Ukraine, this was in the beginning of the month, they appointed a completely AI-generated Ministry of Foreign Affairs woman.
Did you see any video clips? We did the report on the show, but we didn't have any actual video to show. Did you see any, Slavi?
I've seen video of her.
Yeah, eh?
Yeah, there's little clips, but
I'll have to look it up. Yeah.
It's a little bit cringy. I'm not sure it's the best idea.
I think her name is Victoria. I think Victoria, and it's like she's AI generated, but I think like the original like idea was to distract from the not, I would not call it scandal, but it was a dispute, as the Ukrainian diplomatic missions rejected Ukrainian nationals, males in the conscription age of consular services, as long as they do not like register, which was not possible abroad. Like they had to come back to Ukraine at the military conscription offices. And I think that case of this AI-generated representative was somehow like strangely coordinated with this dispute. I do not say that it was because of that dispute, but it just came at the same time. And still, like you have, look, Ukraine is a country which faces the worst challenge, security challenge, which any nation worldwide has faced since the Holocaust.
Exactly.
We do not have like any baseline, any example how you need to act when a nuclear power tries to raise you. Like, what do you do when you don't have nukes and a nuclear power attacks you, and the nuclear power is sitting in the United Nations Security Council and hires a former German chancellor and a couple of United States generals and the former Austrian foreign minister and. Like, there is no manual for that.
Right.
You don't know what to do. And you don't have enough weapons, you don't have enough manpower, you don't have like a mountain range which like separates you from the aggressor, because unfortunately for Ukraine, the most part of the land border between Ukraine and Russia is just plain land. Like, there is no major river, no sea, no mountain range, no forest, no nothing. Like, the Russians just walk in as if it's their backyard. And that's a problem. And then you think, okay, like, what should we do? We need to convince the NATO members that they should provide us with the arms, but the NATO members, most of them, they think, oh, Russia will never attack us. They will not dare, so we will not send the weapons to Ukraine because this will provoke Russia.
Yeah.
And you don't have enough people because you're a democratic country. You cannot just like the Russia does, like the Russians just send the
boys out and round them up, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they just like arrest people and send them to the front line. Or what the Russians do, they invite Nepalese or Indian or Syrian or Cubanese, like young people. They say, okay, you can study at Russian universities for free. And when they come to Russia, a conscript officer appears and say, oh, you wanted to be a student, but first you need to serve 6 months at the army.
Yeah.
Exactly. Ukraine cannot do that.
Yeah,
so
we're going to use you as a fucking dead body, so come with me, right? You know?
And Ukraine cannot do that, so Ukraine is in a really bad situation. And then we come to Ukraine and say, oh, you're not acting that democratic. It's bad.
Yeah.
But we will not provide you with weapons.
Yeah, no, Russia doesn't care. Russia has no scruples. I mean, rules of war, if you hand a book to a Russian general, they'll probably just take a piss on it and throw it out the window. At the end of the day, Ukraine needs weapons. Ukraine needs more personnel, trained personnel. And that's why we're seeing right now a lot of articles in the news that are talking about, not troops to fight, but yes, a request for trainers for soldiers from NATO countries to come in and help train Ukrainian soldiers because they're having to do all of it. They're having to do the training, they're having to do the fighting, they're having to set up their logistics networks and try to get everything they need from their allies while holding off the Russians on all fronts on a very flat terrain. It's trench warfare in a freaking country that is the size of the U.S. state of Texas, which, for anyone who's unfamiliar, to drive from I don't know about from the east to the west side of Ukraine, but from the northern tip to the southern tip of Texas, I think it's like a 15 or 16 hour drive.
I'm from Canada. It's just not that big. Sorry.
I don't know if you're limiting yourself to New Brunswick or something. It's pretty small.
And yeah, I mean, it's frustrating, I'd say, because I really do want to see something change beyond just here's the bare minimum of what we think you need this month or this quarter of the year in order to survive. I want to see a real commitment to Ukraine getting what it needs to stabilize and to push, the enemy back, push them out. Like the bottom line is there are not enough soldiers in Ukraine to ever have a numeric superiority over the enemy. So it has to be quality of training. It has to be the quality of equipment. It has to be sound strategy and tactics that get the job done at the end of the day. And allies, all of us here, we stand with Ukraine, but when we look at our governments and we see this hemming and hawing, it's asinine and it's infuriating is putting it very lightly.
Yeah. There's actually
9
two.
Athens.
Yeah, there's two separate issues here. One is the West's approach since the very start of this conflict to incrementalism, of only giving Ukraine just enough to keep going, not enough to accomplish anything. And that is hugely frustrating and arguably is cruel, almost a war crime-ish approach. Either give them what they need to do it or just say, we're done. This halfway measure is insane.
Yeah. Slavi, just so you know, Commander McMillan's retired U.S. Navy with a specialist angle to logistics. He is the expert on this. He knows exactly what he's talking about.
Fantastic. Thank you for your service.
Thanks. The second issue, we're talking about training and equipment and everything and the number of personnel needed. A lot of people don't understand modern warfare. You have what's called a tooth to tail ratio. which is for every one guy on the front line pulling the trigger, there's X number of people behind him providing medical support, logistics support, transportation, communication, all of that stuff going together. The Russians have a relatively small tooth to tail ratio. So in other words, for every guy on the front lines, they may only have 3-4 guys behind them. NATO militaries, it's closer to 7, 8, or 9 people in the rear for every guy in the front. I'm guessing Ukraine is somewhere in the middle there. I don't know for certain, but that would be my guess, since they're kind of trying to play both sides of that operational doctrine equation. This is part of the issue, which is that when you hear Ukraine saying we need to, conscript an additional 500,000 personnel to go into the service, it's not 500,000 guys that are going directly to the front lines. They need a significant portion of that, well over half, I would guess, to actually be in the rear supporting that war effort. And a lot of people don't understand that. So if you've got people that are, for lack of a better word, resisting the draft and hiding out in foreign countries or whatever to avoid that because they're afraid of dying on the front lines, you can make some sort of arrangement to say, okay, if you come back, we're not going to send you directly into the front lines. We may put you in a rear area position that supports the people on the front lines. And related to that, as you hear some of the operational commanders in the Ukrainian army up front saying, one of the biggest problems is that they have people who've been on the front lines for 2+ years who'd like to pull out of the front line to have a couple months in the rear to recuperate. But at the same time, they're terrified of allowing them to be released for that because it leaves them with inexperienced personnel on the front line. So all of this is working together to create a very difficult problem for the Ukrainian military to address.
Millen, if I may ask a question, what are your thoughts on Blinken's vague response in terms of letting Ukraine strike in Russia and Russian positions?
It's really bizarre is the only word I can come up with, because you're getting two messages at the same time. Go ahead.
My opinion on this, I don't know that I'm right, because as most of you know, I don't follow politics that well. They all kind of just a bunch of old crybaby men to me, and they should all be slapped in the head and kicked into the closet. But I believe that he's trying to follow former UK Prime Minister Cameron there when he basically let out, we don't care anymore what you do with the weapons. And I think he's trying to say that without starting the back and forth rhetoric of the left and the right going at it yet again. That's what I think.
There's that, and there's also, I think, continued fear. I think it's misplaced, but it's still there. It's still present. Continued fear of escalation, where should the U.S. give unqualified permission to say, strike any target as deep inside Russia as you want with our weaponry, we don't care. You're fighting your war. We've given you the weapons. How you use them is your issue. They're afraid to say, yes, do that. So you get this double speak, Orwellian, well, yes, but no. And it comes across, in my opinion, as dumb is what it is.
Slavi,
I understand why it's happening.
Slavi, what was your opinion on it? How did you take it?
I mean, it was extremely vague. It was you can do it, but we're not telling you not to do it. I think
don't get caught with your hands in the cookie jar.
Yeah, in a way, at first, my first thought is like, oh, they're probably like letting Ukraine strike Russian positions. Otherwise, they would be like, no, absolutely not. So this is their way. This was my first thoughts, that this is their way of saying yes, but no.
Well, it's a false premise. It's a false premise of strategic ambiguity. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So in other words, they're
But-
striving for that, but they don't have strategic ambiguity because Russia knows what NATO's capabilities are.
Yeah.
And, you know, so you can't say, oh, we have strategic ambiguity when Russia knows everything. Russia knows what Ukraine can do as well. And so, you know, Germany has been trying to hide behind that as well, and it just doesn't work.
Sergey wants to get in, and we got to go to Greg Terry as well. So Sergey first here.
Thank you, my dear. So we have a perfect example of how incapable and unadult the U.S. politics is. So how incapable and amateur U.S. politicians are. First, you have a visit of Mr. Blinken to Kiev, where he has been asked, do Ukrainians allow, do you allow the Ukrainians to use other camps on our Russian sovereign territory? And Mr. Blinken says very clear and look, I'm a lawyer, I can read behind between the lines, and he clearly allows them to Ukrainians to strike Russian territory because he says that we neither encourage nor talk about it, but the weapons we provide to Ukraine are Ukrainian weapons now, and it is the way of Ukraine to define the targets for them. From my perspective, it's a clear yes, under a pretty strong cloud of we don't care. And then the next day, the Speaker of Pentagon is being asked, and she says that no way, we do not allow any usage of sorry, I said German, of American weapons on Russian sovereign territory. And that is already a contradiction. And I would say, just bring your bureaucrats together and teach them what they say and what they say not.
Yeah.
Just teach your guys and girls talk the same shit.
Lauren in the chat says plausible deniability.
Amen.
I did want to
look.
Yeah.
I am absolutely okay when you say we don't want Russia to behave. We don't like it. We don't encourage it. We are against it, but it's Ukrainians.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. That's plausible deniability. You say, oh, we never wanted Belgorod to be hit. We never wanted to upset to be hit. We never wanted Novorossiysk to be hit.
Right.
But, we have provided Ukraine with the weapons, ask the Ukrainians. That is one question. That is absolutely okay. You don't say, nuke Moscow, or destroy Saratov, kill Russian nuclear industry. You don't need to do that. You just do not need to stand on the way. And that is what the US is doing all the time. They are calling the Ukrainians and say, don't hit Russian precious oil refineries. They call Ukraine all the way and say, don't use our atoms on Russian sovereign territory. You know what Russians are doing? The Russians have built a full-scale air base just 40 kilometers from the Russian-Ukrainian border, from Ukrainian Kharkiv region in Belgorod region. Do you know why? Because they know that the Ukrainians may not attack this area. So the Russians have a full-scale runway strip and a military air base 40 kilometers, 30 miles from Ukrainian border in Belgorod region, Russia, and they can start their planes from there. The plane flies 20 miles, drops a gliding bomb and comes back to the airport and gets another bomb loaded and goes into the sky and drops it once again. So why do they do that? Because they know that this distance, 40 kilometers from the Ukrainian border, is safe because the US Americans and the Germans and the French and the British
Well,
this is Korea all over again.
Yeah. Oh, but I don't know about the French. Marcon seems to be very, screw the rules and regs, just hit them where you want.
But no, French missile. No French missile has ever hit Russian territory. And from my perspective, it is a clear sign that the French has said, do not use our Scalp missiles on Russian sovereign territory.
We're dealing with two crazy issues. Number one, why give Ukraine missiles that have a 200+ mile range if they're not allowed to use them to strike targets that are 200 miles away? I mean, what are they going to position these launchers back in, Lvov or something to hit targets near the front? That's stupid. These are weapons that are designed to strike targets deep in the enemy rear. Why not allow them? And number two, this is ridiculously reminiscent of the situation we faced in Korea, where North Korean, in reality, Russian air units were operating in Chinese territory, and we weren't allowed to pursue them back across the border. So they take off, strike targets, and then burn back into China, and they couldn't be hit. That's exactly what's going on here. But, Sergej just pointed out, it's idiotic.
It's ridiculous. I wanted to go to Greg Terry because I know.
And I'm sorry, for interrupting and intervening again, but look. The problem is that all these strategies, they are well known. And we have tried to propagate them 3 years ago. And I personally said, look, you may have, you don't want the NATO fighters to operate against Russian targets. So you may just have retired US pilots who will get Ukrainian citizenship. They will be Ukrainian citizens. And you will find 20 US pilots who are capable of flying F-16 who would say, fuck yeah, I want to be a Ukrainian citizen for that because all my life I wanted to shoot down Russian planes and that's my only chance. So I get Ukrainian citizenship and I will fly an F-16 to shoot down Russian planes. That was the idea. Or you station F-16 on the Polish airfield in Rzeszów, 30 miles from the Ukrainian border. And then these planes start from the NATO territory, fly over Ukrainian territory. They don't kill any Russian. They just shot down Russian unmanned vehicles, cruise missiles and drones. No harm to Russian, so done. Or you just sell to Ukraine the spare parts and then they assemble the planes together and they fly them. So there is so many options which you can use to say, I don't know, because that is what the Russians do. The only thing which fails,
how can you tell he's a lawyer, right? How can you tell the man's a lawyer? It's not obvious at all.
And the only thing which is not here is the political will.
Yes.
Because if there is a political will, you can do everything you want. If there is no political will, you never dare to do even the things you are entitled to do. And I tell you that the international law allows Germany right now to strike with German missiles from German territory, Russian territory. Because you have international law, because you have the RCEVA letters, which allows you to do it as long the United Nations Security Council has not spoken. And it will not speak as long Russia is on board. So if you really stick to international law so much, you say international law allows us to use all our army in a collective defense case to hit the aggressor, and the aggressor is Russia. So I tell you, the problem is not the law. The problem is the lack of political will.
Absolutely. Sergej, I'm going to say real quick, I think Greg had something he needs to say, and then I will be right back. So I've got this little animation I'll share with you guys while I'm gone. I'll be back.
Okay. What the hell is he up to? Here, hold on.
Wow, Sakai.
Yeah. Well, then he blanked his screen. So what am I supposed to see?
I think it's that little Charlie Brown.
There it goes.
Sakai will be right back.
Oh, okay. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, he has to go do his own stream.
I think he has to go and hold his wee in front of the porcelain, but we'll give
That's
him
what
a
I
break for a minute. Yeah. So Greg, as per the announcement and the ambiguous nature of it, what were your thoughts?
My thoughts are completely different because I spend time with the frontline soldiers. So I personally feel that
I killed it. Go ahead.
You killed it?
The mute. Yeah. Or the echo. Yeah.
I was echoing?
No, Sakai did something. I think he put his headphones by his microphone when he walked away. It's just not working out.
I just have a little different perspective. I think, first of all, Ukraine will use American weapons to strike Crimea because Crimea is Ukraine.
Damn right it is.
It's been occupied for all these years, but it's Ukraine. So we will see them utilized there more. Plus the long range drone equipment that Ukraine is now developing. We saw that strike a couple of nights ago where they were able to hit simultaneously, basically Sevastopol, Novorossiysk, and what was it, Kusabi, or I think down the coast, oil refinery, port, and military base. We'll see more of that. As far as using these ATACMS or other things inside Russia, we'll know when it happens. So for me, I just say let's stop talking about it and let's see what happens. It's like the Danish prime minister coming out and saying the F-16s will be there in a month. And then they had to backtrack on that and come back the next day and say, there's a big difference between a month and then you add an S to it.
Yeah.
I stand by my term at the earliest, and I've heard this direct from Ukrainian military. September will be the earliest, and F-16 will be in the air of Ukraine. President Zelensky himself said yesterday, we hope that maybe by this year we will have an F-16. That is what you need to listen to, guys.
He wasn't even willing to say fall.
No, and let me tell you something. And he had to back up too, because a lot of these soldiers, they're not fully equipped. They do not have enough artillery. They do not have enough shells, and they're trying to play this game and run this crap. And let me just be quite honest with you. We're sitting here worrying about some ATACMS being able to hit into Rostov-on-Don while thousands of Ukrainians are being melted on the zero line. The big problem is we actually need to put them where they can begin to hit the supply lines that are inside Ukraine and destabilize the supply lines. I could give a flying flip about Rostov being hit, to be quite honest.
Commander McMillan has talked about the logistics of supply lines and stuff, right?
Until that stopped, Ukraine will struggle to stop this assault. We have not yet seen the summer offensive. You will see a summer offensive, and it's going to come from two directions. Not sure which direction, but I can tell you they're going to be coming down south for sure for Karakova. There's no question. They want to get Pokrovsk as well, but Karakova for sure. If you do not know where that is, that's down on the southeastern, kind of where the front line down there takes a left hook, is where Karakova is. One of the most important places. It's not OPSEC. It's not private information. The whole world knows it. If you know anything about this war, how important Karakova is. So we're going to see that. And as far as what Blinken says or what the Pentagon says, I could care less what they say. It's what I want to hear is bold talk, not about a weapon working strike, but I want to hear bold talk that is like Blinken did about 10 days ago, where he says, if you do not like being hit with American equipment or our supply, then leave the country of Ukraine. And that's finally a bold statement. This is the rhetoric that the Kremlin understands. They could care less about Blinken saying, well, it's not really what we recommended. Then the Pentagon coming out yesterday, their spokesperson, do you really think that chick knows what's going on? Of course she doesn't know what's going on. Okay, if our war is dependent upon what the press secretary of the Pentagon, then we've already lost the war. What we have to deal with is deception. We need to allow deception to take place. The next world leader or idiot inside Ukraine or Russia that says the F-16s will be there in 2 weeks, you know what? You're destroying the Ukrainian war effort. It needs needs to be a surprise. They just need to appear in the sky.
And you're affecting the news flow and but it affects the news flow and stuff, and it affects our ability to help because people think it's good.
It gives talking heads something to talk about, and they don't have a flying flip what they're talking about. Let me tell you the real story right here.
Yeah.
Surprise and shock and awe is how you smack Russia in the face. They already know what's going on. They know what's on the ground. They're 3D mapping everything now. They've got aerial drones running by the hundreds that are mapping every Ukrainian position, every piece of military equipment that's coming. They know everything that's going on, and half of the world is telling them what's going on because of the Russian operatives that have been working everywhere for decades and decades preparing for this. So we think we can surprise somebody. Well, we're not going to let them strike inside Ukraine. Guys, that's for the world to consume. That's for the world to consume.
Yeah.
Let the powers that be do what they do, and the best thing we can do is stop predicting all this crap and let Ukraine just start smacking them with the stuff that comes and take care of the supply lines, because until that's stopped, then we're in trouble. I'm just telling you, we're in trouble until the supply lines are stopped.
The man preaches with serious iron in his hand, so he knows what he's talking about. Oh yeah.
Well, listen, it's not that, man. I'm there with them.
I know. I know.
Like, I talk to soldiers every day. Zero line.
Yeah.
And we have leaders that come out and say, oh, they got plenty of supplies. And I'm listening to guys on all fronts tell me, dude, I don't know what planet they're on. I can only fire one. I don't have 10. And I know for a fact, point blank, and I can never tell where, and I can never tell who.
Yeah.
But the southern line has become, this is not OPSEC, Russia knows. The southern line has become much weaker since the incursion north of Kharkiv. For a fact, multiple groups have had to rotate up north that should never have had to go there.
And the north, we talked about the supply from the backside and stuff. This is something. It's stretching lines thin, and had the support package come in when it should have instead of so late, do you think they would even be in this position?
No, they
now?
would. So there's a trifecta going on there. So the world dragged its feet, led by the United States, in supplying Ukraine in due process. Commander McMillan is the expert on this. Just because something is signed and it's on the way, yes, U.S. can get something somewhere, anywhere in the world within 24 hours, no question.
Damn right.
But it's very difficult in Ukraine to move things.
Yeah.
I can't stress to you guys how dangerous it is on the front when you get within 20 miles of the front with drone activity and with artillery. It is not easy. The night vision, the whole war front has changed due to drones, thermal vision, night vision, and the ability to move things. Ukraine has very little cover to get supplies to the front lines. A lot of the positions that Ukraine is holding are wide open. That's why some of the stronghold and bastions are Sumy, Kharkiv, the Konstantinivka to Slavyansk semicircle. Those are the strongholds. Once you get past those places, much of what Ukraine is holding is wide open. Open.
It's the exact opposite of like where I live, right? You know.
Well, it's the exact opposite of being able to base your supply through Donetsk, which is a mega city with much cover.
Yeah.
It's completely different ball game where they can run this stuff in. And Ukraine doesn't have enough supply yet to start pounding the supply lines of the highways and the rails and all of these things. You know, Sergej was talking about the airport in Belgorod. He is exactly right. That needs to be smashed because it's devastating. Today, 20 FAB bombs have already been dropped on Vovchansk. Just today. It's happening non-stop, and it's leveling that city to the ground. And supply. Number two, the struggles in getting their handle on mobilization. And that has been their internal issue, and it's been externally pressured by Russian propaganda as well, causing hiccups in the system. You know, the fear of mobilization. And I'm telling you right now, I'm there with the people. They're scared to death. And
how could you not be?
No,
Let me finish. Let me finish, Serge. When your brother is calling you from the zero line, and he tells his brother, "Don't come yet until we're resupplied. If I die, I'm gonna die. I'm already here. Don't come here. There's not enough stuff. Do not come. Get in the basement, hide the mobilization." And this is a guy that wants to go fight.
Yes.
So the supply is vitally important. That's being rectified. Mobilization is being rectified. And then the final thing that I would say is underestimating and playing the game of what Russia actually can do. And I am not, you guys know.
Real is the only way to go, right?
Reality is the way to go. And you can sit around here and sit around the world and go, well, their stuff is trash. 50% of it blows up in the air that comes from North Korea. Yeah, but 50% still hit the ground, and everything that blows up still hits the ground. It's called volume. And
quantity has a quality all its own.
Thank you, Commander McMillan. And then our drones are better.
Absolutely.
Right now, drones are basically about equal with what they can do. Russia has some technology where they're running fiber optics or these cabling with their drones. This is why they're able to map in such high resolution. They're putting out drones connected to a fiber optic wire, and they're running out up to 6 kilometers connected to fiber optic. There is no Wi-Fi. There is no Starlink. There is no cellular. They don't need it. It's hardwired. They go out, they do their reconnaissance, they bring them right back, and it's fully mapped in full HD. Ukraine has the same technology, not to the same range. I'm not giving you guys inside information. This is all public. If you want to go look it up, it's a fact. And here's where Ukraine has the advantage. They're better operators, and they're better soldiers. The meat grinder that Russia sends, they are poor soldiers. But with that said, the DRG and the special ops that Russia sends, they're good soldiers. They're skilled and they're quality soldiers. So, call a spade a spade. Yes, Soviet mentality, Soviet mindset, Soviet war machine, meat grinder, scorched earth. But do not sit around and go, well, they're just, what a joke they are. Well, what a joke they are. They're killing Ukrainians every day. Every day. So you put those things together and you have the perfect storm. And I waited for my hour for that speech. Thank you.
I absolutely agree with what has been told here, and that is indeed a very serious case. And that is exactly the problem was what we observed since summer 2022. In summer 2022, the Ukrainian offensive has started, Kharkiv and Chernihiv offensive, and the West has practically said, we are fine, the Ukrainians are doing good, and we will not support Ukraine with additional ammo or weapons because they will just strike too hard, and that will make Russia angry. And that was the first initial scene of the West. So what we have now, I absolutely agree. We have a death zone, 10 miles each side from the front line. You have a death zone. There is no communication. There is no nothing. And if you appear there, within 15 minutes, you get killed, either by drones or by artillery strike. And that is what we experienced. That is what we experienced there. The armed vehicles, tanks or IFVs, just get smashed there. Drones, artillery strikes, minefields, everything. And what we are facing there, the competition between the operators and those people who do electronic warfare. And so we have the development of drones, anti-electronic warfare and anti-drones warfare. We see the development of drones, which have the only purpose in their life to be retranslators of the radio signal. Because you need to penetrate the death zone.
You've got to keep a connection, right? So some are actually just repeaters, right?
Yes. You need to have repeaters.
Especially
you
for
send repeaters to the air. After that, you have like the ideas of how you have like changing your frequencies, etc. But the most important thing is how you oversmart your enemy in EW and in other like issues. And here, like we have, like I can tell you that we fund a lot of drones development in Ukraine. Like within 24 hours, we have raised like 50,000 euro in Germany for Ukrainian drone developments, which have like 25 kilometers of range. Like it is like 18 miles or 20 miles, and they can hit far behind the enemy line. Because as long as you go out of that pocket, you can operate freely. And that is also a very interesting thing, because the Russian air defense it's not like a Swiss cheese with holes. The holes are actually the areas where Russian air defense covers. It's not like the holes you want to enter. You want to enter the solid like territory, because it's actually the holes where Russian defense covers. Air defense covers very local, very limited areas, and all other territory is uncovered. That's why you can hit oil refineries, logistic hubs, and other things, because it's not covered by air defense. And you have seen all the videos of 20 or 30 Ukrainian air drones like flying one by one to the target where they will hit it, because there is no air defense. So coming back to the front line, on the front line, you have extensive air defense, extensive electronic warfare, no GPS, no nothing. You have extreme competition of both sides, and believe me, they buy their components from the same customer, from the same shop. And I talked to a Ukrainian producer of the drones, and he said me, when I buy components for my drones in China, and the first thing I look at is, are there comments in Russian language on this shop? If there are comments in Russian language, it's a good shop. If there are no comments in Russian language, it's a bad shop. So the Russians and the Ukrainians buy their components from the same shops in China, and then it comes to how they bring them together. What models they create, how light they are, how heavy they are, how robust they are. I held Russian frames in my hands. They are mostly aluminum frames, pretty heavy compared to Ukrainian carbon frames.
Yes. Oh my God. Aluminum against carbon? That's like saying cast iron versus aluminum, right? You know?
That is like Messerschmitt 109 against I don't know, like
Concord?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Sorry, Concord was a civil plane.
Yeah,
But anyway,
but you know what I mean. The lightness of construction, right? You know.
You have a Russian way of what areas are Russians like really? The Russians are not like some stupid bastards you may like beat with your left hand. They're not. Obviously. You need to define the areas where they are strong. I hear myself in the echo. Could you?
One sec, I'm on it. And there we go. We're good. And Slavi's back, so everything is now the show makes sense. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Slava Ukraine, and the Russians are not like complete idiots. They are not that smart and they're not that good, but they're not complete idiots. Which we would like them to be.
They're not Inspector Clouseau, but you know they're not the top level, right?
Where are the Russians strong districts? First, they can scale things up. They are not very creative. They do not allow a lot of creativity. They do not allow a lot of like ideas from the grassroots. But when they got the right idea, they scale it up immediately.
Sure.
Tell every single factory, do exactly as it is. That's their strong side. And the Ukrainians are strong in that they are always testing the thing on the ground, and there are like hundreds of independent research centers which are doing that. And if you look at every single brigade has its own research and development center, and they do things, and they get money, and like they have crowdfunding and fundraising for a single brigade. And when we do fundraising, we fundraise for a certain brigade. We say we're doing it for the 47th Brigade or for 92nd Brigade.
Right.
We don't say we fundraise for the Ukrainian army. In Russia,
Right.
it doesn't work like that.
No.
So the Ukrainians are good in testing things and changing things and
communicating and making people a part of it.
But the
right?
Russians are good in scaling things up. And that is the problem. As long as we allow the Russians to have enough resources to scale up, we are not in a good position because they really are good in scale things up. And they know where are the strengths. The gliding bombs are their strengths, and the absence of the Ukrainian air defense is their strength. And all other things, they can neglect it as long as they can just like bomb you with gliding bombs. And believe me, 6 months ago, the Russians used like 10 gliding bombs on the whole front line within a day. Within a day, 10. Now they use 120, 150 within a day on the whole front line. And most of them are focused in the areas where they really have interest in.
Yeah.
And that is really a problem. That is really a problem. So what they do, they build the airfields close to the area where they want to use gliding bombs, and they let a plane fly once again. So that problem could have been solved by one single Patriot battery. It just like brings the busters from the air.
Yeah.
But we do not like let it happen, and that is how the Russians beat us sometimes.
Yeah.
Killing mostly Ukrainians when they understand that we are too slow. And I'm wrapping up.
Yeah, well, let me just check with Slavi and make sure we've got our audio in again. We're all good?
I think I'm good. Mic check.
Yes, there we go. Okay. Yeah, we've had some issues with this peer-to-peer thing. For the most part, it's worked really well for the channel. But as we start bringing on people that are in like Ukraine and other places with more iffy internet connections, Yana tonight, wherever she is at family and stuff, you know, it all comes together to be horrible. So we are in the background spending some money with some services trying to work this out, but I'm very particular and I want the show to look the way I want it to look. So it's just, you know, we're going to fight through and try to be. Let me check the time here on how long we've been live. We do have to give a shout out. Rick the Ukrainian's got a thing going on here. Let me just bring it up for you here. Oh, my info cap doesn't even work. Hold on. Sorry, everybody. It's just only gets worse from here. Here we go. There. That should actually do it. We'll get the link in the chat here. He's got a, well, you know, Rick, he's got about 20 fundraisers going at any given time. And he's got a premiere that is about to happen or is probably happening now. We're going to redirect you over there as soon as we're done to make sure everybody gets a chance to watch it. And Rick's not feeling the best tonight. He's kind of at home resting and recuperating. So let's all give Rick the Ukrainian big hugs and hope he's better very soon because he is a warrior for the cause. Good. Greg, you always know what to bring to the party, don't you, brother? Party.
That's a great track. I love that one.
It is good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Rick's a special guy. I love him much. And I call him the transparent Ukrainian. Rick's so transparent, he's invisible. Does a great job there.
He is a warrior.
Sounds terrible.
No. So transparent, he's invisible means you can see through him. It's a huge compliment.
Oh,
Yeah,
he wears his heart on his sleeve like nobody else. You can tell who he is just by watching one stream.
He's a good guy, and I look forward to taking him to the front lines here when I go back and getting a drone over his head. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm a complete emotional cripple, and yet I love Rick the Ukrainian. He's an amazing guy.
Dick, let me tell you something right now about being emotional cripple. The first thing, Dick, I want to say about to and for you is how much I love you, that you are a legend. You are the British Columbian stud of Western Canada. There's nothing like Dick. But I'm going to tell you something. If you keep giving me some more... wait a second. If we could get that emotion for Ukraine.
You're going to kill me with that, man.
No,
Hold back, Greg. Tell us how you really feel.
I love you too, Commander.
Yo, Slavi and Yana are just sitting here like, damn, this is the boys' club, man.
I told
I'm used to it by now.
So Dick, you're in British Columbia. Are you in Vancouver?
No, I'm on the west side of the Rocky Mountains, about a third of the way up in a cool little valley. And
Dick's living up in a mushroom valley with the shrooms and the weed, brother. That's where Dick is. James,
actually,
you know what? Just shut the up, James. You secular guy. Nobody.
That's right.
That's your opinion.
Talking the whole time.
For the stinking.
See what happens to the pastor when he shows up here, fellow babies? It's all off the chain.
And I just want everybody to know that I never dropped a colorful word. I am the ability to stop it. Button. Okay.
Yeah. If you can read lips, you can see he's just playing it to the fullest, right? But he's still, oh, it's amazing. You.
Hey, hold on. I have an alert.
All right.
My wife is outside my studio door yelling at me, going, "What in the heck are you doing? You jerk?"
Yeah, I saw you take off your headset, and I'm like, boss is talking.
Oh, my wife is ripping
the boss is talking now.
Okay, so I would like to retract. Dick, I love you. When I come visit you,
don't take that wrong. No homo.
James, love you, buddy. Sergej, love you. Commander McMillan, you're legendary. Sakai, love you. Slavi and Yana, forgive me so much for the censor outbreak, but my wife is going to beat the tar out of me when the stream is over.
But you're into that, so it's okay.
She's going to take your toy away, man.
Oh, yeah, my button.
I've contributed, but I used a P.O. box, so she can't show up here to give me all that.
Listen, in all seriousness, we've had great conversations today. Serge has dropped some serious wisdom. Commander McMillan, it's been nice to meet Slavi and see her efforts there, and we can jump on and support her and subscribe to her. James doing his continual work there in Ukraine. Secular Sky, so stable in helping. And it's been good, but sometimes stuff gets so heavy, it's good to laugh.
Yeah, man.
And one of the and I tell you this directly from the front line, guys, all 1,000 kilometers of the front line, and I run all of it. And now that front line is now 1,070 kilometers because of the additional incursion north of Kharkiv. So think about that, over 600 miles. And the greatest thing we can do is every soldier has told me on the front line, thank you for what you're bringing. Thank you for what you're doing. But the best thing is you're here drinking some coffee and you make us laugh. Yeah, because when we're not on that exact zero, the best thing we can do is laugh. And so I hope even people in the chat are able to get a little smile and laugh. I do not talk that way. That is my impersonation of Dick Dawson. And yes, my wife will be beating the snot out of me when the stream's over.
Yeah, but you can stand tall. You were doing an impersonation that didn't involve the words, just the intent. That's all right.
Correct. Well, she asked who are you impersonating? I said Dickie Dawson. She goes, "You're not even close to Dick."
Hey, I've been doing real good lately. I've been been cleaning that shit
Yeah, but
up
then
and
you-
totally
but
smoothing
then-
that fucking stuff out. You know what I mean?
No, but I've realized the moment James comes on the show, you two rub off on each other, and it's just insane. So you, the two of you are bad together.
That's true. And you know, Greg, don't complain too much about your wife. You know, there's people in San Francisco who pay good money for that kind of treatment. So.
That's funny. David Elston in the chat says parody is flattery.
It is.
Flattery, Mr. Dawson. You're damn right it is. You know,
In all seriousness, guys, let me just tell you
how
straight,
tight this guy and I are. We are,
Let
you
me
know,
tell you something
yeah.
straight. Dick and I basically talk every day, and we've become personal friends, like many of us others on here have.
You're damn right we have.
All the guys I stream with, I talk to them every day, and Dick is so helpful for all of us. His technological skills, his bringing people together. I love Dick Dawson. Anybody messes with Dick, they mess with me. If you mess with me, you mess with the Third Assault. And so good luck to you.
Yeah, I got iron behind me,
You
baby.
do, buddy. You got steel behind you.
We're coming up on 2 hours here, and we got to send you over to Rick the Ukrainian's premiere after. It's probably done now, but you all got to watch the video, right? So this is how we're going to roll it tonight. Slavi, we're going to turn to you first here. We're not doing wrap-ups yet. We're going to give you the floor just for whatever you'd like, and we're going to drop the link because everybody needs to get over to Slavi's channel and get subbed so we can get the subs count and the watch hours up, because this channel needs to be monetized. She's helping Ukraine. She's a voice from Ukraine, and she's from Ukraine.
Thanks so much. Just kind of threw it over here. Yeah, I want to tell people, please keep standing with Ukraine. So important right now. These are definitely probably the toughest times of the war. So if you see a Ukrainian, amplify their voices and do that as much as possible. And please donate if you can. Maybe not your lunch money, but whatever you can. That'd be great. And yeah, check out my content. And if you have any suggestions, anyone, I'd love to hear from you. And Slava Ukraine.
But she wants suggestion. Heroyam Slava. She wants suggestions that are actually like good, not the moronic ones. No offense to anybody, because most of our viewers are
You never
the
know.
best viewers.
The stupid ones
I got
might
nothing.
be good. You never know.
Yeah. So let's do a little round table action here and wrap things up. I'm going to go from the bottom to the top. We're going to start with James from YouTube channel, Why Ukraine, The Last Alliance. You get a lot of good news. It's very current. It's very on the spot. He is in Ukraine, and he is a man with experience on, hands-on experience as it pertains to battle. So get over and sub to James right now, because I can find you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, recently, in addition to just kind of talking about the view from Ukraine, because I don't get out to the front line as much as Greg Terry does, certainly, but I do speak to Ukrainians every single day, and so I try to provide the viewpoint that I'm hearing from Ukrainians on a daily basis. And in addition to that, I've been doing a lot of interviews with volunteers who've come to Ukraine, and they volunteered for however long, a year and a half sometimes, and just so they can talk about their experiences. And my goal there is to educate people who are thinking about coming to Ukraine or possibly volunteering for Ukraine in some way. And I'm slowly putting together kind of cutting down those live streams into kind of like a video library to inform people. And I do have some other initiatives I'm working on that I'm not ready to announce right now. But recently,
It's a good thing you didn't do that earlier, because I would have screwed up and said it, you moron.
Yeah. Yeah. So recently, My fundraising site, which was on Shopify, was taken down by Shopify with no reason given, and still to this day they're actually holding on to a bunch of donated money. It's really horrible. So I've moved over to Buy Me a Coffee, and we are doing a raffle fundraiser to buy a drone. Before the stream, we were just about halfway there, so it's gonna be about $500 for an FPV drone. This is a drone that was requested specifically by the 63rd Brigade drone team, and I'm gonna deliver it out there to them. The 63rd Brigade drone team and the 2nd Battalion of the International Legion, who they kind of work together. It was a really great experience going out there and visiting them. Not on the front line, but on, let's say, the back of the front, as it were. And Greg Terry was able to help coordinate. That was really really fantastic.
And thank you, James Himmick, who we connected you with. Great guy. So thank you.
Yeah.
That worked out
Greg,
well. I was happy to know everybody involved. That was a moment of pride.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. And so, Greg, I had a kind of a question for you about you. You talked about you have a little initiative repairing drones. I'd like you to. I mean, maybe it doesn't have to be right now, but I'd like to talk a little bit more about that and ask you some questions because I'm curious.
Well, there was an order for 40,000 drones that were sabotaged in China. One of their circuit boards in them for directional guidance was drilled. And so when they all came to Ukraine, they were not functioning. And after the first few went in the air, different groups started reporting back, hey, it's going in the air and then it's crashing. We can't control it. And then, of course, Ukraine started doing their research and figured out, and then they pulled all those drones back to a place where they are being repaired. The circuit board is a project we're doing. So we're buying the replacement circuit boards for around $50 each. And there's another benefit of our nonprofit, being able to get these in quantity at a much, much lower price, working directly with Guy Manufacturing. So we are, for $50, we're putting drones back in the air, to be quite honest.
That's super cool.
FPVs.
That's really cool. Wow. Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, well, my fundraiser is just for one drone, but we were able to deliver 3 out there last time. So, if people donate more, then we will deliver more. Every one of those FPV drones is a dead tank, basically. So, totally worth it.
Speaking of which, I'll also mention we're still doing our fundraiser on Tridents Against Tyrants, so go check out the channel if you want to help us out.
Yeah. We'll get the link in the chat right now. Secular Sakai runs Tridents Against Tyrants. They're doing fundraising, news about Ukraine, and it's like, it's the kind of intellectual channel that everybody here will actually want to be a part of. That's why he's on this channel. You get the connection, right? It's not that hard to make, is it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's turn it over to Sergej here, our buddy from Eric, the European Resilience Initiative Center. See, I did it twice without stumbling, buddy. Sergej is like a friend of mine now in the background. I love this guy. Oh, I'm not hearing you. Sorry. We've had a connection issue again, but Sergej, take the floor, dude.
Y'all gone dead. Can't hear a thing.
Yeah, I can't hear anything.
Me neither.
Nobody hears Sergej. Nobody hears you, dude. Rejoin the video thing. Just refresh your browser, and we'll bring you back in. I thought it was just
we
me.
couldn't hear you, Dick, either.
Okay, yeah, it's all falling apart here. Let me go to Commander McMillan because he has a great message that always pertains to the situation.
Yeah, I'll trot out the old trusty. Please communicate with your elected officials. Make sure that they know Ukraine is important to you, that they need to continue to vote for legislation that supports Ukraine and to continue to keep that pressure going. So this isn't the, every 6 months we'll give them one thing. We need continual support to Ukraine. So thank you.
Good words, buddy. Good words.
Good words.
I think we got Sergej back here. Let me get the echo cancel on. Hold on.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you go, buddy. Okay, now we're live and in action. Sergej, it's the floor is yours, brother.
What you missed before is that my confession that I always have problems with pronouncing the correct name of European Resilience Initiative. And you have done it perfectly. So I think like we need to have you as at least as a fellow of Eric.
I'd be honored.
Yeah, that would be something for us. But like talking about the issues that we have discussed now. So we have practically the 3rd year of full-scale Russia's war and the 11th year of Russia's war against Ukraine. And we are still like suffering with naming the spade, and we still have problems, at least in Germany. We're saying, okay, when Russian troops are being accumulated on Russian-Ukraine border, and they are in an offensive position, and they are clearly have the idea to attack Ukraine within the next like couple of weeks, we need to strike them. It's not a big deal. And it is what is guaranteed by international law because Russia has already started its war against Ukraine, and it's a collective defense which allows us to strike them back. We need to do that. And the same thing is about the sanctions. The same thing is about the confiscating of Russian assets, Russian sovereign assets in Europe and in the US. Like you have 300 billion euros of Russian assets in cash.
Yeah, billion,
300 billion Russian assets in cash, not in some like yachts or houses or villas, in cash. In Europe and in the US, just take it and send it to Ukraine so Ukraine could buy weapons and strike Russia back. And what the Russians do, the Russians already confiscate assets of European banks, Western banks, etc. They are not afraid of doing that. That is all the problem. Like the whole problem is that anytime when Russia escalates, the West thinks about how to bring it back to the level which Russia has already abandoned. Instead of thinking how make it painful for Russia, so Russia will have to come back to level 1 or level 0, the West thinks, how can we do something without doing something?
It has to be more of an end of a World War II thing where everybody's broken and rebuilt. You don't just do this whole meter approach, right?
Absolutely. Look, we have now in Germany, in our town of Emden, we have Russian experts in nuclear facilities, which are all military personnel, of course. They started a cooperation with a local company which produces nuclear energy cells, and they have entered the nuclear facility. So the same personnel which operates the hijacked Ukrainian Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, they just came to Germany and do their things. So what do the Germans do? The Germans think first, okay, it's a business. Like they just want to make their profit. No, they don't. They fucking never don't. They never want to think about profit. They think about how they can impact you, how they can create new leverage. And their leverage is they have entered a facility in Germany where they can, if they want, conduct a nuclear terrorist act. So you are practically in their hands. So you have delivered a nuclear facility into the hands of Russian, most probably military personnel, which have their experience in creating nuclear accidents in Zaporizhzhia. And now you completely depend on their good faith. And that is the problem, that Germany doesn't think about the global strategy. Germany only thinks in the case of very separated local cases. They never can think about the whole picture. And if the Russian agents enter a nuclear facility in Germany and other Russian agents kill a Russian opposition leader in Berlin, and other agents buy land in Germany, and other agents buy some chemical stuff which is poison, they don't bring the dots together. They
Right.
don't see the whole picture, and
Yeah.
that is the problem. And
Yeah.
I don't know, frankly speaking, how can we heal that?
Yeah.
That's a tough call. That's it's good words to end on because it gives everybody pause for a think, right?
Yep.
James, did we get your full thing in at the end there? Did you get cut off or were you okay there?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to briefly say that my drone raffle, okay, which is happening, one of the awesome prizes that is coming on this drone raffle is this signed flag from the 63rd Brigade drone team.
Nice.
So this is signed by Foma. He's a FPV, one of two FPV operators there on out there on the front line. And secondly, the other thing is, so these awesome collectible stamps from there we go. This is the Russian warship fuck off. But the awesome thing is, on the backside, it's signed by the 2nd Battalion of the International Legion Drone Brigade. Yeah. So please donate, and I hope you win.
Oh,
that's what I'll say.
Come on, let's get the links out there. Our team is the best. I'm sure they're already on it, but this is cool, right? That's cool. Good shouts, James. Good shouts. Good shouts. Again, Why Ukraine, The Last Alliance on YouTube. We'll get the link out. It's a great channel to be a part of. You know, why do you think he's here? So, get on it. Greg, I'm going to turn to you. And then, last words before I beak off like a moron will be our special guest. So, Greg, what do you think?
Well, thank you, Dick Dawson.
I'm still here too.
Oh, sorry. I don't have I don't have our hexagon. Sorry, but audio only worked for Yana. So we'll go to Greg, then Yana, and then Slavi.
Well,
Here we go.
I have to apologize to the whole world for my beeping. And yes, I am in deep trouble. And
it was one of the funniest things I've ever been a part of.
And yes, whoever said in the chat that I have to get my wife flowers, that's for sure. And I am blazing. I'm getting ready to go put my body armor on, all of my gear for the front lines of Ukraine to make sure I'm able to make it downstairs and through the bombardment that I'm getting ready to experience. So to the entire world, to Dick Dawson, and to the entire panel, I apologize for the censor and the beep.
I love it. Yenna, one of the coordinators for Project Constantine, a group that we support mightily around here, and so does Greg Terry and so on. What do you think? Thoughts and wrap-ups? Because we can actually hear you properly now. That's good, right?
Finally, yeah. Yeah, I think we're still going to have a few difficult months ahead of us. But whenever something bad happens, like when we lose someone we know or something like that, I kind of get into this headspace where I'm like, okay, I just need to work harder.
Yeah.
And I think that's something all of us should, it's an approach we can maybe look at, that, every single time we feel that there is a setback from our government side or a propaganda side or whatever, we need to take that up and see it as, okay, this just means I need to pick up a bit more work, if I can put it that way.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Agreed.
It's
we just got to keep on keeping on, man. You know, I mean,
Exactly,
every
yeah.
single day,
Yeah.
I find there's something bad that's happened, but at the same time, it motivates me to keep on going. And to be honest with you, you know, doing my live streams, I have to say that a lot of times it's the support of my community, the people who come to the live streams and contribute and watch and join the community and talk, and just knowing that there's people all over the world who give a crap, you know, sometimes carries me through in weeks where I'm just like, oh my God, I just can't do this anymore. you know? So I just want to thank the audience and the viewers for that.
Good call.
Oh, and thank you, chat, for the birthday wishes. Thank you so much, everyone.
Yes, happy birthday coming up. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
You know, it's all downhill from here, right? So enjoy it while it lasts. You got a few hours, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, I've got like, actually, I've got one more day. Because it's only on Monday, so it's fine.
So
I need prayers and intercession before I leave. I do.
So let's turn it over to Slavi, our new friend and guest tonight, and somebody again. Let's get the links in the live chat. Let's get the subscriber count up. She'll be joining us a few times coming up in the future. She'll be streaming the show on her channel as well, so we can help build the watch hours and get her monetized as fast as possible. But never mind all that, you know, bravado crap. What do you think? You know, what are your thoughts at the end?
It was fantastic. So thank you so much for having me. I've reached over 100 subscribers, so thank you. I can now live stream with you guys. Because that's how I connect with everyone, is through the videos. It's the best way that I know how to reach out to people. And social currency is also a fantastic thing. So if you guys could share, spread the word, that would be fantastic. And thank you, everyone who's watching, whoever tuned in, and everyone that's you guys that's on camera right now. Absolutely phenomenal job that you guys are doing with the fundraising. And thank you so much. Slava Ukraine.
Heroyam Slava. Good words, good words. So as we bid you adieu today, I once again urge you to go check out Sergej at Eric, the European Resilience Initiative Center. I did it 3 times, dude.
3 times,
Three
baby.
times, baby.
Senior fellow of Eric.
Right? But you got to check these guys out. They got like a full studio. They've had Starsky in the studio for interviews. It just makes me drool as a host. I wish I had what they've got going on. It's an unbelievably polished channel. It's so good.
I don't want to know how much we paid for a studio in the center of Berlin to have all people for 8 hours.
No, I do not. But I understand as an audio engineer what has gone into that, because the production is so amazing. You guys blow me away. I am such a big fan of the channel and everything you bring to the situation. Love it. Slavi, you're going to be somebody that the community is going to be pushing now as a positive voice, as a Ukrainian that's, I guess, an expat. Would that be accurate? You know,
Diaspora, maybe?
Yeah. But you know, as you can tell, she's a real positive voice for her people and her homeland, and as such, we've got to get the thing going. So let's get over there and sub, everybody. Remember, as Commander McMillan reiterated earlier there, and I'm going to do again, you've got to keep on your local, regional, and national politicians. Whatever government structure your nation has, doesn't matter. If we don't continue to tell them that we want support for Ukraine, the rhetoric and political bullshit could get in the way and ruin it all. And we've seen it happen already. You've got to be a voice of the people and stand up for this. at that, we do have some super chats and shout outs that we're behind on, but we're also really late into the show and people have to go. So what we're going to do is a community post after and shout everybody out who didn't get their shout out right now. We love and appreciate you guys so much. Like the effort that we get through the community channels of Eric, of Greg Terry Experience, of ATP Geopolitics, of Professor Gerdes Explains, of Mercado Media. There is so many people out there. James here at Why Ukraine, The Last Alliance. Secular Sakai, our brother here from Tridents Against Tyrants. There's so many people doing the good work. Make sure you support in every way you can. I mean, don't stick yourself eating craft dinner, but you could have it twice a week so you can support a bit more. Right?
But like if I may intervene, like for just like a second, we have at Eric, like we're a German company, and like our chancellor is not the most famous guy like for supporting Ukraine, but we have our regular campaigns for support of Ukraine, and in particular of support of Ukrainian military. And here you see the discrepancy between the Germans and the Scholz, because started yesterday at 16:00, like 4 p.m. local time, and a campaign to buy drones, like attack drones for Ukrainian army, and we have already raised within one day. We have raised 50,000 euro, like $55,000 within one day.
Yeah.
Why have you managed to make it? Not because we are cool, not because, we are cool, not because
You're damn cool, buddy.
but because people are sick and tired of Scholz.
Yeah.
And we get donations of hundreds of euros with the comments like, I'm so sorry, I have voted for the Social Democratic Party of Scholz and I brought him to power, and now I want to pay for my sins. And Jack, that is what people write us. And they say, we want to prove you that Scholz is not the Germans, that we are quite different to Scholz, and what Scholz doesn't deliver. We have to deliver. We cannot buy Taurus, we cannot buy Leopard, but we can buy drones. And that's why we have like raised over 50,000 euro.
So quickly.
Because people are absolutely angry. They are absolutely angry, and they don't know how to express.
Dude. Yeah. And they express with who they are and how they can. And you've got a channel that's what, 6,500 subs or something, and the Eric community
160.
Okay, yeah. And
160.
Yeah, and the reach, like, look what they did just by saying no, screw you, right? Let me turn it over to Secular Sakai here, because he did get to rejoin us and do his thing. So thoughts and wrap-ups, buddy. We're at the end here.
Wait, was I disconnected for a sec?
Maybe. I thought you were, but anyway, just keep going.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll just take a quick minute to wrap up and say thanks for being here, everybody. We'll be back again next week. Keep supporting Ukraine. Call all of your officials. If your government and your officials fail you, keep calling them, and then find 3 other friends and recruit them to come join us, and we'll get the job done if no one else does. And yeah, we just got to keep going, because this won't be done anytime soon. So let's keep on supporting Ukraine.
Good call.
Also, I'll be on tomorrow. Heroyam Slava. And I'll be on with Rick tomorrow. So come join us and the rest of the Rick Rollers.
Awesome. What a patch. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us and the support and the community vibe that this brings together. We are very much striving on the Shills to be like a virtual pub of Ukraine where everybody comes to hang out. So thank you very much. Let's turn it to Slavi for the last words of the night.
Slava Ukraine.
Heroim Slava.
Rome Slava.
Heroim
Next time I'll come with more words. I'll be more prepared.
I think that was perfect. Good night, everybody.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Good night, everybody.